What did that do to you? Because you were saying prior you had a negative
Yes.
outlook. When you saw someone now in the house
Yes.
that is driven,
Yes.
is passionate, that
Yes.
looks alive, what
At
was
first,
the impact on
At
you?
first, it was more like, "Ugh, look at this guy." But then after a while, it was more inspiration.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Look at you, thriving.
Look at you, loving life.
Happy,
Yes.
fucking smiling.
Fucking guy
is
over here.
this?
And then he
Let
goes,
me ruin your
and
day
then he
right
goes
now.
and gets a motorcycle too.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like the Tupperware, you know. We need it. We do.
That's
need
such a
those
parent
containers.
thing. That's a Tupperware.
Yes.
It's a Tupperware.
Like this morning, I was looking for all those. I was like, where are those little containers for like the snacks? Anyways, that's not part of the podcast, but it's just,
That's how we're starting it.
Yeah.
Where are the fucking containers?
where are they? Yeah.
So you guys let me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
Yeah.
Then we started already.
Okay.
Awesome. Guys, thank
Perfect.
you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Where do I look? Here?
You could
there?
look anywhere you want.
Okay.
But all the cameras are on, they're running.
This
So
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
so how are you guys?
Pretty good, man.
I can't believe this day is actually here.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been trying this to make this happen. I know our schedules are a little tough,
Yes.
but and you guys have a ton of stuff going on, which we're going to get into today.
Yes.
But, to first start off, thank you so much. Thank you for the collaborations to work together in the future. It's just been fun since the day we started texting each other because of Jess, pretty much.
Yes.
That promo video that she put on for the Comedy on the Well.
Yes.
And it was like, I'd reposted and then met you guys. And like, funny enough, now we're here today.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how the world works.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
universe comes together and we're just...
Yeah.
And it's been fun just getting to know you guys. So I'm really happy to have you guys here, learn more about how this all started, ask you about swords, because I remember that from...
Oh, you do?
I remember
Okay.
that. So
Yes.
I don't know. I think we're going to start off with that
Start
because
with the swords.
I was like, I remember looking through the messages. I'm like, don't forget to ask us about swords. And then just...
And then he asked me about the swords. I was like, well...
I don't get it. We talk about
I
the
was
swords.
like,
We talked
we're not
about microphones
supposed-
earlier.
We're not supposed to talk about it before the podcast. Because he was asking me, like,
okay.
what about the swords?
What
I was
about
like,
the swords?
So what about the swords? Talk to me about these swords. We're going to start off with
We're
that.
going to start off with the swords.
Yeah.
So we just celebrated our 23 years. Is that a question, a statement?
I don't know.
years.
You
We
could,
just celebrated.
he's like, I'm not looking at the camera
April
for this one.
27th, 23 years.
Yes.
Together.
23 years together.
Yeah.
Yes.
How old are you guys?
Like 24.
we started at 1.
Yes.
So for real, like, how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll be 41 in
Wow.
52 days.
Wow.
43.
That's amazing. So 23 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. So how did you guys meet?
Okay, so are we going to the swords? Or
Yeah,
are we
we'll
going-
go to the sword. I don't know. You started off
How
with
did
that.
we,
So
how
I'm
did
like,
we meet? You could go tell that.
So, no. Her brother is a good friend of mine.
okay.
Met him when I was 17. And I just hung out at his place.
You
at
broke the
time.
rule. You never go
Yeah.
out with your friend's sister.
Let
I
alone-
asked him. I made
asked
sure.
him.
I made sure he was cool with it. Well, afterwards.
It would never be cool with it from the
Yeah.
beginning. You have to do it and then ask for forgiveness.
But he was cool. I wouldn't do that if he wasn't cool with it.
Yeah.
She was 14 at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna keep an eye on this
Yeah.
one. You know? No, I just hung out at their place a lot through basketball. I met him through basketball, and
Okay.
she would be at all the games, just cheering on her brother.
Always
You know,
supportive.
I think
Sister,
she was fishing too for. I don't know.
I don't know.
what
Fishing for
She's
14-year-olds
looking at
attention.
all her brother's friends. Hey, who's...
Which
Hey,
one? Let me
there's
see.
a whole
There's a
array of us, you know. But that's how we met, and then just going to their house and hanging out. Just got to know her as a friend first,
Yeah.
honestly, or as a little sister.
Yeah.
Kinda. I know it sounds
That,
weird.
that sounds weird.
As a little sister, but there's like a connection that
Yeah.
it's not. It wasn't attraction physically,
Yeah.
but it was more.
He's like-
I enjoyed being around her.
Yeah.
And nothing sexual and nothing like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to get with this person. It was more just like, she's fun.
She's fun.
Cool.
Yeah. And then it
So, yeah.
naturally ends up working out.
I remember I was taking self-defense in high school.
Okay.
And then I had a board. There was like, congratulations, because I broke the board. And then this guy, so he goes, pins me down. He's like, "Where's your self-defense now?" And I'm like,
I was like,
morale was down. I was like,
I mean,
You totally destroyed your hold. You're like, I
Yes.
kicked this board's ass.
Yes.
It's like, oh shit.
yeah, you're taking classes, little sis or whatever, you know, like fucking, let's say I was an assailant. It's not working.
It's not working. It didn't work out so well.
No.
So the swords,
Yes.
So how did the swords make its way into this story?
well, we've been, we would always go camping, in
Okay.
our 20s, and then we like the fire, and we're always talking about the future, our future together. And then we're always like, oh, and then we'll have like a picture of us on top of the fireplace, and they would make this sound, Schwing. Like,
You know,
right? The
Yeah,
sound of
Wayne's
the
World.
sword.
we talk about
Oh, I thought it was Wayne's World. I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what I was picturing. I was picturing the sound of swords.
Okay.
And that was the sound. Although when I make that sound, I think of
Wayne's World. That was the first time I was like, you're thinking Schwing.
But
A
that's the
Schwing.
sound of swords in my head. So when we're
Yeah.
both talking about
Shh.
the,
You know
the
that
future,
shh.
and they're talking about swords on a mantle, and then our picture,
like legacy. You
Oh.
know how
Like a
you have
legacy.
Nice.
you have your grandfather's hats up there, right?
Yes. So
you know,
we
to us it's
envision-
just like a, it's just at an estate.
It's the family.
with
Yes.
like a
Family
oil,
crest.
oil painting. You know,
Exactly.
That's like, you guys have
Right?
to do a crazy
Yes.
oil painting.
And then we're always thinking about these swords. We're envisioning it. And we're always talking about every time we go camping, every time we're like gazing into the stars. We always think about this.
That's
And
amazing.
I think after how many years together and talking about this story, we only finally understood what that sword looked like. So for me, I always envision, that the crest.
Yeah.
And then it's like, shing,
Yeah.
like this.
Schwing.
like, shing, like that's what I
That
was.
sound is like the perfect sound for two completely different things.
Exactly.
I'm picturing two penises. Schwing.
I'm picturing two swords, and he's picturing.
I'm picturing like Japanese samurai
Oh,
style on top of each other.
Nice.
There's a point to this story,
Yes.
right? We after so many years together,
And
like
talking about
and talking about
envisioning.
this vision, this legacy, we discovered that hey, sometimes our visions might not be the same,
Yeah.
but we have a direction that we want to go. We know we want an oil painting. We know we want our kids to
Yeah.
to hang our hats.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're like, oh shit, I thought you were talking about that,
Yeah.
and she's talking about Schwing.
And you're like, shing.
Schwing.
But
Yeah.
just, I think it not a defined, but it's a very important part of our relationship that it's we could be talking about one thing, or any individuals can be looking at the same situation and just interpret it differently.
Yeah.
Intentions are good on both sides, but you're really like seeing it differently.
Yeah.
That's why communication to us is extremely important. Like one of the lessons, or the main lesson I teach my kids, we had this discussion this morning and yesterday
And the day before.
and the day before, because they play a lot of sports. And I asked them, like, what's your strongest muscle? And strongest muscle to us is our brain,
Yeah.
our mind. And if you can't get your mind right, or can't get it strong, doesn't matter how strong your body is. It can be strong. You can do things, but if you can get your mind strong, and for us, it's communicating. It's being able to control our temper. When you're angry, you can be angry for days. You can be angry for hours. You can be angry for minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the lessons I'm trying to teach them. So anyway, the communication is like, got to be sure that, we're talking about the same thing.
Yes.
Ultimately, it's still
moving
swords.
It's
Yeah.
a sword.
And so
And we always bring back that.
But what's funny is that because you had one vision of kind of maybe, I don't know if like that crest, like
Make
a
the
British
sound.
crest or
Yeah.
Schwing,
Yeah.
but he had more of a samurai idea.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's still swords.
Yes.
It's still
And I think
swords.
that's where people like
Yes.
sometimes there could be the differences, and it's funny because it reminds me a lot of with my girlfriend that very different, completely different backgrounds. She's French, I'm English. She's half Arabic, half Russian. I'm Italian. Like, no, there would have been no way we would have ever met, like outside of, you know what I mean, of how we met. But ultimately, a lot of the values, like all the important things, were exactly the same. So all those other things, like it's swords ultimately in the end,
Yes.
but it's a Japanese one, and one is maybe like a British style
Yes.
sword or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you saw, like a crest, but it's swords, man, in the end.
Yes.
But it's cool. So, but this is, you guys, this is a relationship status. But then you guys decided you wanted to work together. That's another step. How did that happen? Because working together is very different than just being married together, right?
Yes.
So how was that?
It just worked. I think it was just we complement each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm more controlling and bossy, and he's compliant.
That's how we complement each other. You got it.
Yeah.
No, she's a visionary.
Yeah.
I'm the boots on the ground.
Okay.
So it works out because not that I don't have an imagination, but I don't see things the way she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But he's able to understand. I have a vision, but I'm like, I just don't know how to put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
one thing to
that's
think
where
about
he-
and one thing to materialize
Yes,
it.
That's right.
and that's where he comes into play.
Yeah, and we do it together, vice versa. You know,
Yeah.
there's some ideas I have, and she's like, "Oh, we should do it this way."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I just found, for me personally, I've worked in so many different jobs. You know, from I was working at Wendy's, I delivered furniture, all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
and there was always a team involved. You know, within those jobs or the sports that I played, and I discovered that, you know, like, to have a good teammate, it's rare. Someone that you could vibe with, someone you could be like, oh shit, I got you. You know, like anticipation of our next move. I think that's
and
our strength.
understanding the
Yeah.
flow and
Yeah.
and as much as it would working together, but sometimes when we're not together, we could find also the disconnection in the household as well.
Okay. Like what? What do you mean?
I think whenever he would, like, one of the examples, like when he started barbering, and there was like a disconnection at home. But again, there could be disconnection in my mind during that time as well. So it was just,
But there was a lot of stuff because there's the Be Connected, there's the
Yes.
barbershops, there's
Yes.
Comedy on the Well that you guys doing the comedy shows. So, but what was the original idea? Like, did you have a concept and now it's branched out into like so many different things that you didn't expect?
It
Like,
started with the relationship.
Yes.
We wanted
Okay.
to make sure our relationship was like we could be together.
Yeah.
I don't know if many people think about that when they get together. Like,
What's
oh,
Be
look,
Together for you? Like, what was that?
I want to spend my life with this person.
Oh, he's so nice.
But some people say that, but I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to spend my life with her?
do I
Like,
fucking
when
I
I
always
really?
say it.
Yeah,
in
no,
front of
like,
people.
when I started going
Do I
out,
really? I really?
do I really?
don't-
Because I'm like, yo, I've had 2 girlfriends in my life. I married my second one,
Wow.
so I'm pretty confident in knowing what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to just jump around. And I don't know, when I started dating her, her dad was like, "Are you sure?"
Oh, you got the talk
like,
right away. Like
No,
right away, Dad
more,
came in.
More of like, are you sure you want to marry this
You,
one?
yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure you want to marry this.
Not
one.
like
He's looking at you. He's like,
Yes.
dude, I've lived with her.
Are you sure?
He's
I know.
protecting him, not
Yeah, that's the thing. And I thought about it, and I'm like, do I? You know, do I? But once I got that sorted out, I'm like, I could do anything with her. It wasn't a question. Like, working together, projects, whatever we're creating, I
Yeah.
know we can do it. Because if I can decide that I can spend my life and create a life with her, build a life with her, why can't we do other things? You know, a business, you know, like comedy festivals. You know, what's the difference?
So how did it start then? You like someone came up to the other and said, "I want to start what?"
I think at
what?
the beginning of our relationship, it was more dependency. Like everyone was saying, "Oh, that's like unhealthy that you're always together,"
Yep.
and then I
Literally 24 hours
like,
together.
No.
and
But you guys
then-
look. But honestly, when I see you guys, you look like you're still having fun after all this time being together. You guys like we're having a good time. We're laughing. We're joking around. The
Because-
vibe is like a fun vibe with you guys.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, we're pretty fun, but
Guys,
the reality is
we're pretty cool.
We're cool. I tell it to my children, we are okay.
Are we cool, son?
you please tell me I'm cool.
Yes, you'll see. But it was just really, it was I would say, the dependency. But then during the pandemic, I guess that changed a lot of people as well.
Yeah. How did that have an impact? Because now it's like really 24/7.
Now that was exactly before 24/7. Before children was more like Netflix and chill. Was Netflix even then? It was more like download something.
LimeWire and chill.
Yes,
Exactly,
we would like
exactly.
watch something. Yes, Netflix wasn't even existed. But we would always be together and doing that, you know. And then now there's children involved, and now
Yeah.
there's and meeting people, going out, and now we're all together. The kids trying to have that balance
Yeah.
of working from home and being with the kids and trying to find that
Just
line.
even time to even
How do you
like alone time too,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
Yes.
because there's one thing, you know, like hanging out together, working together, the kids,
Yes.
everything, and there's still you. in the
Yes.
process too,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't
Yes.
forget who you are. How do you find that time?
And how did I find me? That
Yeah.
was like
I
that
think
was a
it-
defining moment.
Yeah.
I think that I guess we would say hit rock bottom. Like,
Why? What happened?
it
Just
was-
of time? Like what happened?
it was just I was just lost. Like in my line of work, I deal with people. I'm always like meeting with people. We had a team. We just like always come together, and we would have our trainings. We would go see clients. I go to coffee shops. I go to their home. Online was never a thing. It was never so.
Okay,
even,
so just the whole way you work, even was
exactly.
just,
So
yeah.
transitioning to from meeting people to online to I'm leaving, drop the kids off, and then I could go do my thing, come back, and now it's all meshed into one. And people were able to grasp the whole online, and some people just broke down, and I was
Yeah.
I was the one that broke down. I believe one of my retirement plans was to watch the whole Marvel series. And I did it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We watched like the whole like series.
Avengers 1, you started Captain
All the
America, and then
way.
you went the whole way.
Iron
The
Man.
whole-
Oh, it's true. It's Iron Man.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then
I
he's
went
like,
to do-
he's like, I'd like to do that. I was like, you watched it? I was like, oh yeah, because he got hit
Oh, shit, I
hard.
forgot about you.
He got hit hard during the pandemic, so he really
Yeah, it
didn't.
was messed up.
But so what were you guys doing pre-pandemic? Was it still the Be Connected?
No,
or
Be Connected was the birth.
from the
and-
pandemic?
yes,
So what
so
were you guys
then-
doing before the pandemic then?
I'm in finance,
Okay.
so as a financial advisor, I'm
Okay.
always, and he was at home most of the time with the kids.
Yeah, because you had the barbershops, or you doing the
No,
bar?
not
So,
even.
okay.
So it was
Pandemic
just,
was really like a hip, and then our lives like went another direction.
Isn't
Yes.
it? Isn't it kind of? Would you say the pandemic was a blessing or a curse?
a
Blessing.
blessing.
Me too. Same thing. The pandemic to me was obviously, pandemic is bad, but the concept of what pandemic. Woo! I can't wait for the next one.
Yes.
But it's just this idea that if you would have asked me in 2020, like, oh my God, I remember because my life had shifted too. I was changing jobs at the
Yes.
time. And I had been on the road all the time with customers and seeing people like financial advisor,
Yes.
but I was in marketing and sales.
Yes.
So I was always with customers at agencies, building commercials and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just changed. I was changing to a new job. And I remember all my training is at home alone on my computer. And at the
Yeah.
beginning, I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yes.
This is the worst thing that could happen. Like life has completely been altered. I used to go out like 5 nights a week, always suppers, always dinners, lunches, and then everything stopped. And at the beginning I thought it was terrible. And now like it was honestly, it just changed the whole trajectory of things in a way that I never would have thought and appreciate so much more now. It gave me the time to relax for a bit at a certain point, like to just be home.
Yeah.
I was never home. So I don't know if you guys were in the same scenario, like if you were always working.
But at that time, our kids were, I would say it was 4 years ago. So
Okay.
our kids were like 6.
It's true. So you had the kids. It's true.
Yeah. That was,
Oh my God.
6, 4, and like 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So everyone in the house.
In the house.
That must have been
not
heavy.
knowing when is, and trying to figure
Chris,
out.
you got to get his face.
Yeah, and trying
right
to figure
to get his face.
It was rough, man,
It
because
was.
we got hit with COVID, and like we were out. We were
Yes.
like. I
Well,
felt
we
like
live
I
in a
was dying.
triplex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our triplex is like, it was kind of a blessing as well because we are on the top floor. My brother and his family's in the second. My parents are in the basement.
There were 12 of us.
Yeah. Okay. So at least
Yeah.
you guys all know each other. And
Yeah, well,
it's
that's how we all got COVID too,
Yeah.
because my brother works at the hospital.
Yeah,
so.
He's like, hey guys,
Shout out to the
He's
general-
like
bought
patient,
takeout.
General.
patient zero. He was the one that
Yeah.
brought it in,
I
and
remember
we
he-
remember
He,
talking
he came
about-
home one day. He's like, I'm not feeling well. This is all good, bro. I'll hang out with you,
Yes.
man. Let's talk, you know?
Yeah.
And we were
Hugs,
like,
bro.
we're like dabbing each other.
brother-
Seriously, like literally. I was like, yo, don't worry, brother. You'll be
Yes.
all right. And then we just all
the
got
whole
it.
building, 12
Yes.
people later.
Yes.
That,
But
Because my
it's like-
brother is always working 24/7.
Yeah.
He always has kids. Like, we
Yeah.
never get to see each other. So when it
Mm.
was locked down, we took the opportunity. We had a supper. We all came together, and we were just like, had a party. And we're like, what is this pandemic?
Yeah.
It's a scam. We're like, what is
Dude,
this?
it'll be over in a week.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever the story is, it's just the news. Like
Yeah.
they're talking about it for a week. It'll be good.
And all of a sudden, we're like falling asleep during meetings. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep during the meeting. I don't know what happened. And then now we all know.
Yeah. I guess it depends who you ask. It's a
Yeah.
blessing,
Yeah.
or it was like a really, not a
It
curse.
was a hard time, yeah, for some
Yes.
people, definitely.
Yes.
Right.
But at least you guys woke up on the better side of it.
Yeah, but the
And-
thing is, like, when there are hard times, we have to. There has to be a way to find the light.
But that's a positive mindset.
Yeah,
Well, which we did
but
not have at that time, really.
At that moment.
That
Yeah.
moment.
But we've been training
Yes.
for years. Like when I say training, we had mentors. Shout out to Raj Grover, Lizelle Oy, our mentors. They, when I talk about the strongest muscle in the body, it's the brain.
Yeah, it's everything.
And they spent countless like years teaching us, mentoring us.
What
and
made
how
you
to-
get into that to start off with? You know, like, because not everyone says I have mentors. And who introduced you to the idea of mentors and why? Because I believe in that too. You need someone that has either been through something or whatever it is that kind of helps you or just helps you think differently.
And see a different
And
perspective.
just, like take a step back to kind of reassess the whole situation. How am I feeling in this? What's
Yes.
really going on? But
And
I mean,
you talk to the right person, because if you talk to the wrong person, they're gonna like feed whatever.
feed the other side of it,
Yes.
right? Which is like something that can completely hurt you
Yes.
throughout the long run. So what made you say from the beginning, and then we'll get back to the mentor, but what made you even say, I want to have a mentor?
They just came into our lives.
They just
yeah.
came. I didn't.
I think
wasn't
most
looking at it.
things that happen just happen.
Yeah.
There wasn't I want to grow up and have a festival, comedy festival. That never was a.
That would be a pretty fucking interesting. I'm going to open a festival. You know,
Yes,
like,
they're gonna start that. No.
Yeah.
Like, even last year, you would even ask us all of that. Comedy fest. Yes, that's
so the mentors
Yes.
did help you guys throughout that whole process.
Yes.
And what was happening? What was changing mentally for you guys at that point to say, it's time for a change now?
I think it really came down to.
I think that
I looked
maybe the timeline has to be
Yeah.
defined. The mentors were pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Yes, pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Like 10.
Okay,
like
so they had
15
been in the
years.
picture
Yes.
for a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they really helped
When I
you.
was when she was 20, when I was 24 and she was 20,
21, 22. Yeah.
So we found people that really just wanted to share with us how to be better.
Yeah.
And like I have a huge family, but no one really sat down and said, you know what, like let's work on your thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's work on the way that you would see things. You know, I think just naturally we're optimistic people sometimes.
But I would say in the 20s was the like the partying. We still had
Yeah.
we still had our
Yeah.
natural demons that
Of
were just
course.
like
Not
Yeah.
demons.
Yeah,
We're
not-
just 20. We just want to turn up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you want to go
Ah,
crazy.
yeah.
But
Yes.
if you don't go crazy when you're 20,
Yeah.
funny enough,
You're
I
going to-
went crazy in my 20, but I went crazier in my 30s.
Okay.
And then, because I got divorced, so I got married early, then I got divorced, and then that period of like, whatever, that was like that was intense. It was intense.
I could imagine 20s
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, 20s were fun, and then 30s were
At
mental.
30s, you had probably more pocket money.
That
Yeah.
was the problem.
Yes.
That was the good thing and the bad thing. Is It was
Yes.
more cash flow.
Yeah.
But definitely, so you guys, okay, so the 20s are party days,
yes, 30s I'd be like
but in mentors, but no one in their 20s is thinking,
We're not thinking that.
Yeah,
We
you're just like-
in the line of business she's in, we found them through there.
yeah.
Okay. So, yes, we were going wild. We were drinking. We were popping like ridiculous
champagne.
amounts of bottles.
Yes. And now we're all like, that
Yeah.
bottle that you spend.
I can't,
we-
I
you
can't do it anymore.
No.
Someone's like, we're going to go to this $500 for this bottle. I'm like, are you crazy, dude?
Yes.
can get
We're
this, you can
pre-drink.
get
We're going to SAQ. Come to my house.
Yes.
We're going to get drunk here. And then we're going to go have like drinks.
And then we're gonna go walk.
And then we're going to walk there.
We're not even gonna Uber.
Or bike.
Yeah.
Not even bike.
So,
But yeah,
Yes.
it's we were in 20s going wild, but there was also that side that was teaching us like,
Yes.
okay,
yeah.
you know, like do it, but be responsible about it. You know, but if they weren't in our lives, I think we would have been going
Yeah.
like wild a lot
That's how
longer.
I always questioned myself, because I was people question that, like, are you sure? Like, I was very like negative and always just blaming everything and everyone for not getting where I
Yeah. Where you wanted to be.
yes I was like, oh, it's because of this, it's because
Impatience
of
too, I'm
that.
guessing.
And I wonder, I'm like, oh man, imagine if I still had that mindset, where I would be.
It's so funny. Same thing. I had certain people that showed up in my life that at the time I didn't realize like the things that they were saying meant so much. And then years later, like they kind of just stuck in the back of my mind, almost like in this vault in
And
the
then
back.
you're like,
and then all of a sudden the voice just reappears in certain moments, and you're like, oh, that's what that means now. You know, like 6 years later,
Yeah.
like, okay, I get it now. It makes sense. And it's funny because as you get older, you're like, oh, there was a reason why I met this person.
Yes.
You know, you didn't know. You just
Yeah.
didn't understand how vital they were to like
And
the
that's why
shift.
whenever you meet people, it's just like,
Yeah.
there must be a reason.
So the pandemic hits, and you said all these that the mindset is switching. You said that negative mindset
It's
into
more
this.
than I looked at Deo and I said, you need to find something for yourself and for us. Just go somewhere, and I'm like,
Get out and
outta
find
here. And, like,
it.
we
There's a
usually-
forest.
we
Walk in that
always-
forest. Take those swords. Go fucking do
Yes,
something.
Yes, take it off the mantle and go. But
So-
it's like we always talk about, like, we always volunteer. We always like do something, anything, and get paid doing it.
Yeah.
Like if it's even like at a coffee shop, that's my dream job, is to work at a coffee shop.
I'm gonna connect you with my buddy.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Just to do it, just to
Yeah.
not for monetary reasons, but that was one of those. And he came and he was like, "I'm gonna go into barbering."
And so how did that
You
happen?
should tell that story.
How did
because-
that happen? Why barbershop?
I've been the family barber since I was 12.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of 6.
Yeah. So
So
someone's got to cut
my
someone's hair.
parents.
And he was the
they're-
uncle.
Yeah, I was a fun uncle. They call me Funkle D, Func, whatever the spelling is. But yeah, family barber. Caught my brothers, my uncles, my dad, my cousins, nephews.
And you were literally
Nieces.
the family barber.
Nieces.
Literally the family barber. Didn't get paid any cash, but I was ready to do it because what they gave me was far beyond any monetary. It's like, they feed me. Always feed me. Like, yo, bring food. You know, bring
All I
food,
need is some
bring
food.
some
man.
drinks. I'll cut your hair. Usually at my mom's place on a Sunday after church.
Yeah.
You know, and I just like literally did it for free for like 30 years.
Wow.
Just because I love doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a creative, an artist myself, and that's just one way of expressing it.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic came. She's like, "Go do something," because I was very big on. I was a youth pastor at my church for 8 years.
Oh yeah.
So that's a lot of volunteer work. I volunteer every time there's a friend in need or our friends are in need. We're there.
Yeah.
Always giving our time. Money was never like, oh, we got to pay for this. Oh, our time is, valuable. We never thought that. We just thought, the value we'd give someone, I think that's enough, or what they would give back to us. But then pandemic hit and then our business shut down and we're like, oh shit, gotta do something.
I gotta do some money now.
Gotta do something.
Well, I figure this online business. How do we do this?
Yeah, we didn't know online. We didn't, none of that. We're old school. Like we like shaking hands. We like giving hugs.
Yeah.
So
Which was illegal.
I was about to say that. That's a tough business to be in during the pandemic. Shaking hands, giving hugs.
but yeah, I was a client at Beardlington Barbershop. Shout out Beardlington.
Yes.
First and oldest barbershop on Wellington Street.
Okay.
I was a client there for 2 years, and I just like the vibe. I think any client that goes to a salon or a barbershop, they go there because they gravitate towards the energy there, to the people there, or the barber that you have there. And I just felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then as the years went by, and she's like, you got to find something. Just started inquiring, found out they had classes. I was like, oh, I know how to cut. And I asked, you have classes coming up? And yeah, just went from there. I took their class, and turned out I really, really enjoyed it. Like I cut for 25 years before this, but I was only cutting Filipino hair.
Very
Like straight, thick, dark hair. So when I started taking the classes, I realized, there's like
all these
soft
other
hair, there's curly hair. Like, oh shit, I really don't know what I'm doing.
It's true.
So
So you have like 25 years of experience
set.
on one side,
Yes.
and then
Or
another
even
side it's like
buzz
you're a
cut.
beginner.
yeah, any
But
Asian or Filipino comes on my chair, you're gold.
I got you.
I got you 100%. But like I'm like, yo, what is this straight hair? But that's how it went. So
But I do remember when he says, I wanted to go into barbering.
I was gonna say,
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to support you. But in my mind, I'm more like, what?
well, it's so
Yes.
funny you said it. My buddy Liz was on. She was an episode. I don't remember the number now, but same thing. Her husband at the time was her boyfriend, and he was working in restaurants. He's from Italy. He makes pizzas. He was a pizzaiolo and all that stuff. And he was working for someone, and I think it was during the pandemic or along those times. And he's like, I want to do pizza parties in people's backyards, And so at the beginning, she's like, okay, I support you, on the dream. And she's like, where the fuck is this gonna go, And even the first time when he had one of his first events, her mother's like, are you gonna go help out Alessandro? And she's like, why? She's like, well, you have to go support him, like go support him. And she's like, of course I'm gonna go help him. And but she was like, oh shit, let me get in the car now. Let me go help him, But at the beginning, these things sound crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like, how are you gonna survive doing these things?
Yes.
And now the business is thriving. Barbershop, we're talking about potentially, I think, another location or whatever. So, like when you look back now at that conversation, like what were the thoughts going on in your mind? You were saying there was a fear, but what were your thoughts of saying, I'm walking into this new, like now I'm looking at this as a career, not cutting my family's hair anymore,
Yes.
I guess let her perspective first was.
Let's see what she says first. Yeah, I'm yours. You never said that. You didn't believe in me. Give me that water.
Now you want my water. Yes. For me, it was more like cutting hair.
Yeah.
I was like, you're going to cut hair? We're going from financial services to cutting hair. I'm like, what would people think? That was my perspective.
Interesting.
What would people think?
And
that was it.
And that was it.
But I was supportive.
Yeah. I guess
I can tell you
perception,
that.
because being in the financial services business, we want to be in done up in suits and and that's great. Like we feed our family with that. But I'm like, yo, this is. I went in when I found out that I could do this, like in a class, and then they were gonna take me. I was like all in. I was like, yo, fuck yes, I want this.
That's amazing.
I want to do this. And I didn't realize that she didn't really see it that way.
Yeah.
Because when I get latched onto an idea and something that's exciting to me, I'm gonna go for it.
Full force, man.
Full force.
I cannot half-ass it. Like now, same thing. Like when I'm in, it's like nonstop. I could stay up till 4 a.m. practicing or working on it, doing whatever it is.
Exactly.
And there's this eternal energy almost that.
Yeah, like you can't imagine like when she goes to sleep, the amount of barber videos I watch, people are just cutting hair.
But that's it. And I would wake up, I'm like, this guy's watching.
All she's hearing from the downstairs.
Yeah. Oh no, this guy has an accent. He's like, and you cut your and you. I'm like, was that my accent?
You're thinking it's like, what's he doing on this computer at night? Like, it's like all this dirty shit or whatever. And you're like, no, man.
No, it's an art, man.
Yeah,
it's an art.
But after a while, honestly, then I was like, wow, look at the beginning, I was very like, look, he's spending his time doing that. He might as well be putting his energy on something else. But then after a while, I just saw him. He's like drawing on a notebook. He was passionate.
He was alive.
He was alive.
Yeah.
And that's something. Oh my God, am I gonna cry? But but it was something when I saw, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen him have that like purpose or like driven
drive.
And it was just like drawing, like his sketching, his work was there, and going on YouTube and looking at videos and that was inspiring.
What did that do to you? Because you were saying prior you had a negative outlook. When you saw someone now in the house that is driven, is passionate, that looks alive, what was the impact on you?
At first it was more like, oh, look at this guy. But then after a while it was more inspiration.
Ugh.
Look at you thriving.
Look at you loving life.
Happy, fucking smiling.
Fucking guy over here.
And then he
Let me ruin your day right now.
And then he goes and gets a motorcycle too.
Oh, okay. You got to talk with Chris. He just got a motorcycle too.
Okay.
Yes.
All done, everything. Like it got his neighbor puts together bikes and stuff. So he has the guy, like, he made him this bike. It looks fucking amazing. I'm like, I can't go on a bike. I'll die in 4 seconds. But yeah, I'll introduce you to Chris.
That's a whole new story. Yeah. That's a whole.
So you're getting into that. You're kind of like, are you feeding off this? And that made the change for you too? Where you're like, I want to do something different?
What was I think I was just more of, I wanted to start a book club or join a book club.
Okay.
I think she wanted to do something.
And then I was like, you know what?
You had a calling too. Something was happening.
I like book clubs. I'm like, instead of looking for one, I'm like, why don't I join myself?
Yeah.
And as much as we're talking about mindset and these books that we should be reading, I would get quotes and I would quote them and I'd be like, yeah, like live life and all that. But until I actually started reading where these quotes were coming from, and I started internalizing and like really reading from like audiobooks 24/7, just really listening to it. It just came together that I think there was one, I would say we spoke about this, was one moment where I remember dropping off the kids and then I dropped him off. He was going away to a chalet. We spoke about this. And then
He looks down.
yeah.
This is when he had to go find himself in the forest.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Go there. Go to
And-
the forest.
And then I just remember sitting, and then I had a choice. I remember like I dropped off the kids. I had a choice. I was looking at the water. It's like one of those like moments, and I was just like, oh, I could go and kill myself right now, or change, do something different, do something. If you don't do something right now, everyone's life will be impacted.
And then it's crazy because I think everyone at a certain point, how old were you when this happened? Like at the pandemic?
I
so
would say 37,
38? Okay.
Yes. But I had these moments before. I remember having moments when I was as a kid or
So what was so weird
teenager.
about this one? What was the one? Because we've all had these moments.
Yes.
But there's some of them
Exactly.
that are like, they're real moments of change.
Yes.
Like, and
Yes.
they're almost...
You're at crossroads.
You're at a crossroads and you know that it is finally time. We're not in the thinking mode anymore.
Yes.
We're not in the analyzing. You know, it could be something in months. You know that an action needs to be taken now.
And an action.
An action. It's not just about
Because-
talking anymore.
Yes, we had moments like this. Remember, he was working in Kuujjuaq, and then, of course, we've always wanted to be
This
together.
guy's everywhere.
Right?
Hey, don't fucking...
Try everything,
He's in Kuujjuaq. He's in a
So
forest.
He's in Kuujjuaq, right? And then he would come back. He would work 3 weeks and then come back 3 weeks,
Okay.
or is it 2 months? But then it's always one of those. As much as we always want to be together, can you
Yeah.
imagine when he's away for 3
Yeah.
weeks? And then we would have this like moment, like this like crazy. We would go to like the church, St. Jude Church, and we would pray. We're like, what do we do? And
Yeah.
then he's like, he was supposed to leave that day, and then he didn't. He just ended up staying because we're like, oh, but then you would just like watch movies again. So it's not like we would.
Yeah, it was, something's going to happen, but nothing
But
would
we
happen.
don't do anything.
Yeah.
But the difference, what happened, and during the pandemic, we actually did something different.
Yeah.
That's the difference, because we've always had these moments. Looking back,
What was the first thing you did after that moment? Well, not like the first thing, but I'm just saying, like you said, I'm taking action now.
yes,
What was the action? It was the book club?
I believe it was the book club. It was something.
It
It
was,
was,
it was reaching out to your friends.
yes. Oh yes, yes. That was another define. Goodness, how long is this? How are you going to be talking?
Yeah, I know.
How are you going to edit this? This is.
We don't edit. That's the
Yeah,
whole
I
point.
mean, this is.
You can't leave out that every part. You know what I like
It
about
is.
every part connects. That's why you can't edit it.
Yes.
You know, because without this part here about the book club, the friends, the swords, like all that leads into this. So that's why I don't like editing. It's
Yes.
just, it is what it is. And that's the story. This is your story. So it's like, why something happened with this fucking book club and
Yes.
these friends, like you said,
It
like
is.
you said, reaching out to your friends, like it was such a different thing.
Yeah.
So what was it about
Because
reaching out to your
best
friends?
Her bridesmaids, literally all moved away from Montreal.
Oh, so you kind
So
of like
it was
lost.
just me.
So it's really him. I was really like.
Yeah, it's tough.
So then when he went to barbering as well, I was like jealous of
The friendships I was making.
the
Yeah, because you're
connection
kind
I
of
was
feeling
making.
alone a
yes,
bit.
yes, that was it. And I had a team also, and my team like left
Wow.
as well. So
That's
it
tough.
was just
I think
and
looking
being
back at it
alone with
now,
the kids.
yeah,
and so it was
it's a lonely time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we were like surrounded by people, so
Yeah,
That's
some
tough.
of the loneliest people are surrounded by loving people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but still feel lonely.
Well, my girlfriend told me that when she was pregnant, the first few months she didn't want to say it, right? Because it's always kind of like just in case something happens and all this stuff. And it was like only like 2 months and her friends are all here still and everything, but that she felt like I don't really want to go out because they're going to say let's have a drink. I don't want to say that I'm pregnant yet, and kind of just want to make sure everything is good. And she, I think, for 2 months was like kind of didn't have those friends that she was going. And she felt that she told me after, she's like, I feel so alone. She's like, I know you're here, we're hanging out, but like there was a
There's
whole like
something.
community that she was a
Yes.
part of that she felt like disconnected from the community, and that's 2 months. So I can't imagine how lonely it must have felt at a certain point for you to know like all my friends they're not like a 2 month thing. They moved away.
Yes.
I'm only stuck with the kids, you know, like my husband, my boyfriend, it's kind of like I'm alone. He's working, he's doing his thing.
He has his
It must-
motorcycle.
there must have
cruising.
been a breaking point. You know what I mean?
That was
Like
the
you
breaking
said,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so what did you do? You called your friends? Like,
I don't remember what happened after that, but I just remember that defining moment to the point where I had to go change.
yeah,
And I don't know the timelines for it.
Yeah.
But what I do remember is in our company, we went a trip to Universal Studios.
Nice.
But then it got canceled because of
Oh,
COVID.
it's true.
So they're just like, well, Canadians can't go to the States. And we're so upset because we had 3 boys. We're like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
So when we went, we ended up going to Banff. And I was like, oh, Universal Studios or Banff.
There's
like,
2 different vibes completely.
completely. But it was the best thing that happened.
What happened?
Because that's where my girls are. They live in Calgary.
Oh, okay.
So we took that opportunity to go there. The flights were paid. So we went there, just me and him.
Oh, that's a nice way to connect too
Yes.
for you two.
Oh yeah, we went like biking. Like anyways,
In
it's a
the
whole
Rockies,
new story.
yeah. If ever you're in Banff,
Yeah.
rent some e-bikes and go biking in the Rockies.
And bring a
I'm gonna
whistle.
fucking
And
die.
bring a whistle.
No, no,
bring a
you-
whistle. And so in case you
Yeah,
hear
there's
beer,
bears,
so
there's
that
bears.
they would
Yeah?
it would blow.
But
so
it was
that-
beautiful, you know, like you gotta connect with nature sometimes, not just with people, but with the world, you know, nature.
Did you guys feel like, you know, when you have that kind of trip where you come back and you're like reinvigorated?
Yes.
Like you almost feel like it was, especially even just being you guys, maybe no kids. Like it was almost like a
Yes.
plug-in again.
For
just
our
your
relationship,
relationship, but even
yes.
like individually. Did you feel that something also changed? Because you were saying you saw your friends again. So
I actually booked a month later. So my other girlfriend, she's actually in New Jersey.
okay,
So that trip, we called the girls' trip also. Like even my sister-in-law came, and then it was just us.
nice.
And the husbands were taking care of the kids, and we went to Banff, a Banff trip, just the girls. We went to the spa.
That's
you know,
amazing.
It was just one of those, and we would just laugh and just like drink and just be on the patio, and and that was a defining moment that we're just like, wow, we didn't get to go to the trip that we wanted, but we went to the trip that was needed.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be for us. So.
And Be Connected came out of where then? Was that the next step after this? Is Be Connected?
So
or was
we've
there
always
something else?
wanted to build a legacy. We know
Yes.
if like for us, it's very important to leave something behind for our kids.
Yeah.
So we used to call ourselves BQ Legacy, Bustamante Kiblat Legacy, and we were building our business to that. So that's still a thing. We still want to
Yes.
build a legacy with her.
But it was from this trip, like you guys started talking about this idea, like
It was more of him going to Burlington, and there are a lot of 20-year-olds, and they're like, go on social media, promote yourself, and do. I'm like, no.
How was that?
No.
How was that transition of saying?
It was,
You're going from
resistant. We
Yes.
were resistant to it.
we are against social media, we are against posting. We're more of like
Stalking.
watching,
Actually
my
having a
profile
conversation.
picture, like my last updated, it was like 2015.
Yeah.
Like when you gotta check if this person
yeah.
is really legit. You're like,
Yeah.
what? The last person changed their post, like their picture, like so.
Yeah, I think we just had a negative view on social media because we were fed the idea that social media is bad.
Yes.
Bad for you. You shouldn't be on it. Like people are fake on it.
Yes.
Well, I agree with you. Like, there's 2 ways of looking at social media.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There is a bad side of it.
There
There
is.
definitely is.
But we found the good side.
Yeah, but if you do what it was meant for, you know what I mean? Like really connecting people, sharing the stories or whatever,
Yes.
and not like being dependent on it, like for
Exactly.
the likes. That if I don't get the likes, I'm gonna have a depression
Yes.
scenario. It's like it could get heavy on the other side of it. But if you don't, it's like the best tool
It
possible
is.
for.
100%.
It's-
We've met so many amazing people because of that.
Yeah.
But even for a business standpoint,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you think about in the past because I worked in advertising, you had to always pay. Like you wanted to put your ad somewhere, you had to pay for it. Whether it was in the newspaper, whether it was on radio, TV, there was always a format that you had to go through somebody to advertise your business or to advertise something about you. Social media, like literally, you never need to advertise again. Well, in a sense, you can literally organically
Yes.
grow and follow and collaborate and do all these things. And no one's the middleman in between stopping you from doing this. Like you can have a whole media company in a sense from your phone. So the power of having that is like such an amazing ability, but there's the
Learning to
bad side of
accept
it too.
Learning to-
And
well, we consider it. It's like a tool. It's like a knife.
Exactly.
Right. A knife could create delicious food, or it could go and
not hurt
destroy
somebody.
you.
Yeah, hurt somebody.
Right? But it's the person that's holding it.
True.
Yeah.
Because so we were just. I think it took me a good year I was like really studying about social media. I got a calendar. I was like, this is gonna be a post.
But
This is
this
gonna be
is
a reel.
back to your question.
Yes.
How, where did Be Connected come from? This is from it was bubbling with the idea of how does social media work.
Yes.
In the past, we have organized different events, more educational, in money education events. So she was accustomed, or we were accustomed to bringing people together in that forum. But now that, you know, like, well, okay, we want to try something new, social media, because I was cutting hair, and in that industry, you need to showcase yourself, right? So she's like, how do we use this? I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, okay, we got to learn about it. So
Yeah.
she literally put together a panel of social media experts.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that when we were organizing for the
Yes.
panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one thing about her that I'm very impressed with is
Oh, in love. I thought you were gonna say in love.
Oh,
I am.
they're a bad word.
no, it's just these
not what we
these
practice.
ideas,
We practice this. It's in love.
these ideas that I think are like maybe far fetched, but to her she's like, yo, we can fucking do this.
Yeah.
I did not say that because I
No,
would not
we can
say
do
the
this.
F word.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to swear at least one
Yeah.
time here.
But yeah, so she literally put together a social media panel, and she disguised it as, not disguised, but learn about it, but it was for her,
Yes.
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, why not? If you're gonna put it together and you're gonna help other people, at least you learn from it too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because I could study it.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
she
I could
listen-
pay to go to a class.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're learning the real one, not
Yes.
the theoretical one that's
That's right.
outdated
Yes.
most likely.
Yes.
So she was able to put that together and not just get education, but highlight others. I think that's where Be Connected, the strength is. It's the ability, in the forefront, it's putting other people in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And then in turn, something will come back to us.
Yeah.
You know, but that's never our intention. Like, oh, I want to get paid or I want this. But it always happens that way. When we shine the light on someone, something is going to come back
Yeah.
to us.
We
Something
started
will
saying
reflect.
that. We're like, oh, it's
you know?
not about the money. It's not. We started changing the aspect of like, well, how can we make money doing
Yeah.
what we like to do?
Yeah.
You know, this it's kind of like we were talking about. Social media has a good side and a bad side to it. I find money is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Money, depending on how you grew up. You know, some people will tell you money is the devil, money is the
Yes.
this, but money is just a tool the exact same way. So if you use your money to help other people,
Yes.
to shine a light on people,
Yes.
like even for me, like this podcast, there's money obviously that was invested to make this happen. And I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about other people because I like sharing those
Exactly.
stories. Why can't those stories help other people connect with other people and then get together? And this helps your business hopefully one day that people get to know the story. Maybe it's a few years from now and people are watching this to get to know you guys more. It's whatever the story is. It's just that I don't get anything in return from this, but I have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
I have the control of doing it and it's
Yes.
building, right? And it's
But it
and
will
then
come
one
back.
day
It will,
that would
yeah.
be great if it does. But if
Yeah.
it doesn't too, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I know that if you do the right things, it somehow always works.
It
out.
works
That's
out.
it's like a
Yes.
weird thing.
It's not weird.
It's like you
but
have
it
to
is
believe in
weird.
that. It's weird, but it's
I
not.
do
Yeah.
believe.
You know.
Because yeah, like moments like that, they come about, and before we're like, oh, what is this? But then it just kept on happening. Always come around back to us, like something good, you know. And we just learned to be like that's the way the universe works, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
If
you
it-
put good shit out there, it comes right
It
back
comes
at
back.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
same thing as cleaning up my Instagram. I had to clean my Instagram, who I followed, who.
Yeah, it's like a mental
because
cleanse.
I unfollowed certain friends because I'm like, doesn't bring me joy, doesn't inspire me.
It's heavy.
But like when people post, I'm like, I get inspired by
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Versus I see that people are like, oh, what are they doing? They're showing off. I'm like, you see it as showing off. I see it as
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah, and confidence and
Yes.
all these other things.
Because it takes so much to post something.
Yeah,
right?
at the beginning,
Yeah.
you're so worried.
Yeah.
You feel like such an idiot.
And they're
so how
able
many
to do
times you do
that.
the record, you know,
Yes.
like on the video?
Yes.
At the first few times, you're like, oh, I can't put this on. I sound like a fucking stupid idiot.
Yes.
And you just back and forth, back and
Yes.
forth. And then at a certain point, you're like, it doesn't matter. It's just about putting it out there. And one take, max two, let's go.
I
Put it
can
out.
imagine with this.
Oh,
like
the
when you
first
started.
time. Oh my God, I was
Yeah.
so terrified.
You're like, I got all the cameras, I got all the lighting.
Not even. I didn't even have that.
No.
The first one, we actually released the first episode out because there was a video filmed on an iPhone. We're 5 people talking or 6 people talking, and there's one guy that's not even in the video. He's talking. We have to put his picture up like in the edit because we're like, you don't even see him. It was because I didn't think there was going to be video. I thought it was always just going to be an audio thing when I first started. So I said, fuck it. Put an iPhone. If somebody wants to record it, just record it. Then we'll cut maybe a shot here or there. I was like, you know what? That's the first episode. Upload the first episode as it is, because that's growth.
Yes.
That video is the first time of like being scared. I even have like a little notebook of questions that I thought of, because I said, oh my God, what am I going to talk about?
I didn't even ask any of them.
I'm like, I was so worried, and I could feel it, like I was tense, And compared to now, it's like hanging out in the house, camera. It's like, it's such a growth spurt in the span of 12 months that it makes it fun. Yeah. But enough about me. Question I want to ask about you guys.
Didn't even talk about the festival.
Exactly. I was just about to say, we're not done. We're going to go on till we're done. That's what I want to get to, is the comedy on the well. So you have all this barbershop, all these things, and then all of a sudden comedy.
Yes.
Where the fuck did comedy make its way into this conversation, basically?
Well, that bubbling, the social media panel.
Cleaning up all like who we're following.
Yeah, who we're following. She likes art. She loves art. We're artsy people. Well, we like crafts.
But I'm not creative myself.
Yeah, so
I love
she collaborated.
To see people
be creative.
Yeah, so she collaborated with a collective, No Clue Collective, who are a group of craftsmen and arts people or crafts people. And she did like a art pop-up, several of them.
Okay, cool.
So she was like creating these events that were of interest to us. And that was super inspiring to me. Because in the past, we just create events because that was our job.
Yeah. Like,
we were
get the
supposed
youth
to do
together.
That. We're supposed to do that because we want to make money. We want to live.
Yeah.
But then she started doing all these things like, oh, shit, I love art. I love music. I love... And then she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I like comedy. Let's do a comedy show. Like literally.
Every time she must have been like, what the fuck is this guy talking?
I was like,
first
alright.
barbershop, not fucking comedy show. What the fuck is this guy?
Right,
no, but
okay, now you had a different mindset.
So I'm more like, let's do it.
Look at the difference of what you told me like 10 minutes ago.
Versus it's more
the barbershop was
everything was always like, I would think of the challenges versus how can we get there. Like if you said festival, I'll be like, oh yeah, but you have to get the website, I have to get this, I have to get that.
All the hurdles.
I would have, the check marks right now would be like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah. But this one was different now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started with because we have a good friend. He's been a comedian for 20 years, our host of our comedy on the Well show. Shout out Paul Beloyet.
We all look at the camera.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna count him, but whatever. But yeah, he like let's reach out to Paul, see what he wants to do.
Then we reach out to Jess because that's the space at Spatial.
Spatial was a space.
And Jess said, "Oh,
so
I don't know."
So that's how you guys got to know the Spatial space was because of Jess?
Yes.
How do you know Jess?
Not even. Okay. Jess was like a whole new like. I think. I guess she spoke about it also that she was going through a time in her life, and then I was going through a time in my life, and then we came together like at Spatial. She was like a new person, the reception. I was like, who is this girl? The same thing. I was like, who is she? And she's like, she's not like,
she's looking at you.
Like,
who is
she's
she?
like not the typical like receptionist.
And she's fun.
Yeah. I was like, she looks fun. Like,
shout out to Jess.
Yes, Jess. Shout out to Jess. But it was just one of those. So the first year I was trying to figure out my vibe at Spatial, and she was at the same time. But then slowly we're like coming together, maybe doing Sanka sets.
Yeah. The reason she was at Spatial is because she needed a space to go for herself. Like she was always working from home, always with the kids, always just at home. Yeah. And you know how she had told me, go find something, and I found the barbershop? Vice versa. I told her, go find something for yourself. Get out of here.
You need, I work at home, and there's an element that's really nice of being home.
Right.
But you start getting lonely in the house. Yes. No matter what, you have like no outside interactions.
Yes.
And you feel a bit like a fucking weirdo at one point. Like when you're out in public, you're like, how come I don't know how to be in an office space anymore. It's like, it's like you just, I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I don't know if you had that.
Yes, always.
But I'm always in a weird space. Yeah. But totally, like, I completely understand that just walking in and even getting ready to go somewhere, it's a big thing. Like just getting dressed to go out instead of just being in the joggers and the sweatshirt. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And I think that was the biggest thing also, even when we're doing going on Zoom, I still brush my teeth, I still change, I still wash my face, because I'm like, it's one of those, I'm not, it's for me, not for you. Right? But it is. It was really
100%
for me. I was doing that for me, not for you.
But so now you walk into Special, you have this space.
How? And they was asking how did that come about?
Yeah.
Because I would usually drop Deo off at the barbershop. Then I would look for a coffee shop. Mm-hmm. So let's say it starts at 9. I drop him off. I look for a coffee shop. Finally looking for one. Wellington has many.
Yeah.
Then I had to look for parking. I'd pay for parking. I'd buy coffee, which is like $20.
Yeah, nowadays.
Right?
I can have a latte. Where's your mortgage information?
And then I have to
call my accountant.
Yeah, I have to
Can I afford this? Fuck.
Take the laptop off. I'm like to
and you
set
feel
up.
like by the time you even start working, it's fucking 10:30.
And then I have to go pick up the kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. So, and it was just like that.
Yeah.
So I identified the challenge. The challenge was like, I do like coffee shops.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then that's how we were like looking. And they're like, how did you find Special? I really don't know.
Yeah,
You were just walking down Wellington, you found it.
No, it wasn't. It was maybe it was an ad. Maybe now that I'm asking, I was like, it's the universe. Maybe there was an ad.
Yeah, it's an algorithm. Some
They
algorithm.
heard,
like,
and then now
Instagram heard you.
looking back, I'm like, maybe it wasn't the universe.
Yeah.
Like listening to
It was tech.
She was supposed to be there.
Yes.
She got an office space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I
from
started
that,
coming around. I saw Jess. We started being friendly.
Yeah.
And then I just asked, just like, I knew they were doing events at Special.
okay.
And I just asked Jess, like, what do you think about doing a comedy show here?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, fucking yes.
Yeah.
That's
we were
amazing.
thinking about doing like a Comic-Con, like type of event there.
And so now what? And then it started the monthlies, right? You guys are doing
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. Okay.
Yes.
So the bi-monthly events are starting.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you decide to do a festival now.
No, all of a sudden I want to quit because I was just like, what are we doing? Like every 2 months is a lot of
I could imagine the preparation.
like transforming the place and trying to get people to know about it. But I'm like, I know for a fact Saturday when the show happens, I'm going to love it again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's just like everything beforehand. I'm always like, do I want to do this? Do I want
Yeah.
to do this? Is
But-
it worth it? Is it worth it?
You guys do this one every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's doing all this stuff. And then you're like,
Oh,
let's
let's
throw a
do
festival.
Yeah, I know.
What
I
the
look at him,
fuck?
I was like,
Am I missing something here?
Exactly. And that's what I said.
This water's not strong enough. I'm not.
That's exactly what I'm like, look at us doing all that.
Yeah, so as we were putting these shows together, and they've been successes. We've sold out every show.
That's amazing. Congrats.
You know, for us, it's not about just comedians making people laugh. It's about the afterwards, connecting the people and doing all that. So I thought that this is a great concept, you know, and when we started this, after the first show, I was like, this is going to be on Just for Laughs someday, or we're going to be be involved with Just for Laughs one day. We are going to
And
be
I looked at
involved.
him.
We.
And then I looked at him.
But it was always, I knew it. We had something special. And I knew, like, if it's not on, like, a, you know, gala,
Yeah.
like, we're going to be involved in the Zoo Fest. There's something with Just for Laughs. I can feel it. And then...
he said something like outdoor or something. I'm like...
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to put on an outdoor festival, like 16,000 people. We'll find a spot. We'll have a big stage. And then Just for Laughs, unfortunately, you know...
Almost like perfect timing.
Yeah.
I not like perfect timing, but I mean the
timing,
opportunity.
The opportunity
just
was there.
shows up like right when you guys are kind of like
Exactly.
ready for it too.
We actually submitted our show for the Zoo Fest.
Jess submitted.
Just submitted the show for
Wow.
Zoo Fest. And we didn't hear anything back, but then we got the news that it was not coming back. So again, the visionary, I don't know, she sees opportunity where some people might not.
Yeah, they might say, "Oh man."
Yeah.
We'll wait till the next one.
Late to the next. At first, I was like, "Damn, that was our shot to get, you know, to Just for Laughs." And she's like, "No, there's
I was like, no, now it's our shot.
Yeah, now it's our shot.
now it's a shot."
We can actually control it.
Yeah, rather than someone giving us that opportunity,
We're gonna make it.
let's go make it. So that same morning, when we heard that news,
Gab,
yeah.
he's like the head honcho of Special, sent me a text. He's like, did you hear about what happened? I said, yes. And he's like, what do you think? I said, oh, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
And we met the next day and he connected. He's like, he doesn't know anything about like the comedy world,
Yeah.
but he's like, how do we connect? He's like the business side of it.
Yeah.
So he like linked us to Patrick, the one in charge of like the SDC on Promenade Wellington. So he's just really, we're going back. He's like pitch deck. He's like giving me all this like information and what needs to be done. I'm like, where do you go? And I was like, okay, how do we do this? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I just remember that when we were talking about quitting, like stopping the bi-monthly, I said, I'll give you the year. I'll finish comedy on the well.
So this happened. How long have you guys been planning the festival now?
The festival, no, I mean, we were just really...
We started yesterday.
We started
this
in
morning.
March.
Literally,
it was just,
the day that Just for Laughs announced they were bankrupt is the day
we started
working on the festival.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that long, but you guys, it looks like it's amazing.
It was
all
March,
the setup, like the guys
yes.
that you guys are putting together, it looks like shit is rolling the right way. You guys
This
are
is the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here just to look good, you know.
I'm cutting their hair, man.
take-
I'm cutting their hair.
Yeah.
I'm making them
He's
look
like,
good.
He's making sure that I eat.
Yeah.
That I sleep.
Yeah, no,
that it
making
sounds-
sure that the
But you
kids
need
are
that.
fed, kids are...
Yes.
But you
know?
need that. Like that's a partnership. That there's sometimes you're taking the lead on one thing,
Yeah.
sometimes they're taking the lead. And it's not a question that, they're taking the lead, so you let them kind of just do their thing. No, you support them in the process because someone still has to eat and still has to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So there has to be that balance for sure.
And that's, like sometimes could be a mental battle.
Yeah.
Egos can get in the way. I'll be honest, sometimes like I see her grinding away and having all these successes and moving this festival forward. I'm like, I want to be the one doing that. But
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, but I got to get the kids to basketball practice.
Yeah.
Because
that's important too.
It's equally as important.
That's
flow
important too.
that
It's a
gets
different kind of
broken.
importance. Yeah.
So it's getting egos out of the way and just continuing on with the good, like the bigger picture.
And so now that the festival's locked in, you guys made a decision.
We made a decision, and we, as much as we're talking about pre-festival, even just the shows itself.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to like quit and not do it anymore, I said, okay, let's just solidify. We're gonna have our next 4 shows.
Okay, so
by the
it's
end of
still
year.
the bi-weekly is still
Bi-monthly
happening.
is
Okay,
happening.
sorry, bi-weekly.
So we're just like we're doing it. I'm like, I that's my commitment to you, as we'll do it for the year, and then whatever downs, whatever ups, whatever we're gonna go through, we'll go through that, and then we'll revisit that idea for 2025.
Okay.
And same thing with the festival. Like we're like, oh, this is a big deal. We know that
This
it's
is
gonna
big.
be big.
And so what?
We know we're gonna go through our downs, but I'm like, as long as we know that we have the end picture, there's no quitting. We're gonna do it. So that was more of whenever we feel down, we would rest when we needed to rest.
Yeah.
And
Listen
then
to
we
your
would-
body, listen to
yes.
your head. You know it's telling you something when you're exhausted.
So I would wake up at 4. I would go to sleep at 1, but there are times I would sleep like
I'm
8
sleeping
hours.
in today. Yeah, I'm sleeping in today. So now the festival is July 8th to the 14th?
Correct. July 8 to 14.
Yes. And it's going to be where exactly? On Wellington, where?
On Promenade, there's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 venues that we have.
Nice.
And having 20 different shows.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How insane is it to book all of these places, book all of these comedians? It must be 4 a.m.s and stuff like that. Like, it must be crazy.
But the thing is, what we've learned is we're nothing without a team. Every captain of a ship has people. He has his number 2. He has his guy like in the engineering room. She. They have a team of people running the ship. Yeah. He's steering it in a direction, but he's not physically. I don't know if they still do this, putting coal in the thing.
He's got some old ass shit.
Yeah. So we've found a group of people, incredible group of people.
How big is this team?
It's crazy.
How many are you?
Crazy how.
So we have Paul Paluyat. He's working with Karen Haynes. They are the head bookers.
Okay.
These guys have been in the comedy business for many, many years.
Nice.
So they're really like reaching out to the people in the industry, like, hey, we're doing a festival. You want to come do a show? And just with their temperament and their likability, most of the people are saying yes.
Yeah.
So that's a breath of fresh air. We also have a social media manager, someone who's taking care of sponsorships, someone who's
taking care of media,
media release, media relations.
Yeah,
the name. Yeah,
public relations.
Public relations. We have a web designer. So all these things we could technically do ourselves,
but
it
wouldn't get done.
It wouldn't get done.
It wouldn't get done
because we tried that.
Exactly.
Even just with Instagram, just posting. I was like, did you know it's not even connected to our Facebook. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, that's our old account, our Be
Yeah.
Connected account.
Yeah.
So
It's great when you start really looking at something and taking it seriously. You realize that it is absolutely impossible to do it all alone.
yes.
It's like if you want to just like Mickey Mouse shit, you could do it alone. But to do it right, to do it like right, I don't like that word, but to do it well,
Well, yeah.
and to really bring out the vision that you probably have, chances are you will not be able to do this all on your own. And if you just outsource those things to the people you can trust,
Yeah.
then you can actually progress at a level that is just astronomical. I
Yes.
could imagine, how fast things move.
And I was just so worried. I was like, oh, why us? Why would we do the festival? Like, why can't the next person do
Yeah.
it? Now I know, because I'm like, there's like, we met with some Ricky D's, I guess that's his name, show business.
Yeah.
There's the business side that most people, I don't think, would or are willing to go through this. Because as much as people are like, oh, we have the back end of this people that they're like, yeah, we'll support you, hurrah. But financially, when it comes to it, we're like,
Who's going to pay for the setup?
Who?
Who's going to organize it? Who's going to pay these people?
who's going to pay all these things?
Yeah.
And once they said, no, we don't have funding for you. So most people are like, oh, okay. So we're like, okay, fine. At least you gave us a clear picture to say, no, we don't have money for you. Versus we're thinking you're going to give us
Yeah,
money and we're going
that's
to be
the worst.
waiting for it
The
and not
worst.
moving. But then now we're like, it's clear you don't give us the money. Fine, we'll find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Next person, you're like, oh, money's not a problem. And we're both like, yeah, it is. Like, where is
It's
it coming?
always a problem.
It is a
It's
problem.
usually a big problem.
Like, there are problems like, how do we get the axe? Or like, that's not our problem. We
Yeah.
could get these.
Yeah.
So now once option A said there's no funding, option B said there's no funding, option C there's no funding.
Yeah.
Like literally, we went through.
How many
all
times did
these
you want to
people.
give up on that? Like, how many times did you want to give up after all the times
None.
you had?
As much
Wow.
as like you say no to me, I was like, fine, that's clear. Go to the next one.
Why was this? Like, why? Like, not because I'm questioning it, but I'm curious because I love hearing stories like that. All those no's, and you're like, fuck it, I am gonna find this money. What was it about this festival that made you so driven to say that I'm gonna go no matter how many no's, I'm getting a yes. I don't fucking care.
This is
I think it was
like just from the past, like we had in the business of finance, you have like this is was ingrained in us. You have to go through all these no's. There's a formula, a certain amount of no's to get a yes. A certain amount. So I think we have built up the brain power to know that not everyone's gonna say yes. And there's that, and when she is committed to something. And there is a
The
deadline
face turn.
to me.
Oh, I love you, baby.
yeah.
No, but like
Yeah.
I've recognized this. It's an observation throughout the 23 years of our life that if there's a project that needs to get done, it doesn't matter what the obstacles are. She's gonna go make it happen.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. If it was something like, oh, maybe we're gonna try to do this festival, then maybe it would have
Dissipated on its own.
Yeah. But when there's like a hard commitment, it's the commitment. It's the commitment we made to each other. It's the commitment we made to the city of Verdun. It's the commitment we made to our team that this festival is going to happen. Doesn't matter how many no's there are. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't happen
Perfectly.
perfectly,
But it's gonna get
or
done.
the
The
scale
vision that we wanted
we
it.
want. And it hasn't, right? We have to cut down on certain things,
Yes.
but we're still gonna make it the best that we can make it.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be proud of it at the end.
Absolutely.
And I think that's an important part. Is like sometimes we have these visions when we first started. Like a buddy of mine, he was telling me, I had him on the show when he started his business. Like his expected revenue year one, he had put down this number. He's like, my first year, I didn't make any money. I lost money.
No, that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
We are making money this year.
But
we said that. We're like, everyone we spoke to, we're like, no. The first time, you're always going to lose. You're always going to lose money.
But you have to go in with that.
Yeah.
But like, you cannot go in with the idea that it's not going to be a success. Like, you need to believe that what you're working on, whatever happens in the end, it's a success because it got done.
Yes.
Like, that is the
And
biggest
then who you
thing.
become.
And then who you realize who you become throughout the process is also a big success.
Yes.
Because
and the people
fact,
you meet and all of that.
the fact that you finished it.
Yes.
Like, you actually fucking
That's
completed
one
it.
of the things. Because before it was very, very, if something was hard or a challenge or I get a negative response, we would be like done and out for months.
Yeah.
Months.
I have a problem, or I used to have a problem, where I would love building things. And then when it was time to walk through the door at the end,
Yes.
I would either be bored, like I wouldn't want to walk through it,
Yes.
or I think now when I look back, I was scared to walk through the door because maybe people won't like it or whatever it is. So it's like, okay, let me go build another house,
Yes.
but never actually walk through all these doors. So I would have all these like you know,
Yes.
metaphorical
Yes.
buildings,
Yes.
but never really fucking walking through. And then now I told myself, no matter what, whatever you build, if it's a small building or you have to walk through the door.
Yeah.
And then you make a decision if you want to keep this building or whatever metaphorical building.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this idea where you have to walk through that door. That's the finishing. Starting everything is great, but
Yes.
you need to finish it.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, you have to just finish it and then decide if you're going to continue. You don't have to, but you have to walk through that door. You know what I mean? I'm so excited
Or
for
even a fear of like starting something because a fear of like reaching to the top because once you hit the top, then you're going to go down.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what I feel is like when I do something great or like what's gonna happen? Am I gonna be so popular they're gonna like hurt my kids? You know, like
Yeah, you never know.
These are my fears. Like sometimes I won't do things because
it's a fear. Like whether the fear is of a positive outcome that turns bad or a
Yes.
negative outcome that destroys you, it's still the fear is the base.
Yes.
And that's what makes it really hard to move forward because you're not even, it doesn't really matter what the end is. It's just a fear that's associated to it. So it just makes it bad. Like it makes it feel like it's a bad decision.
honestly one of the biggest fears, we spoke about that, is like me not speaking French, not able to speak French, and the fear of talking. I'm like my conjugation, like the feminine, masculine. I was like, I don't want to talk to them, like. But then that's how I'm practicing. That's how I'm embracing and learning.
And most of the time, people don't take it bad when you're trying.
Exactly.
It's people take
It
it
was
bad
just
when you don't want to try.
That's
You know
where
what I mean?
I'm like, that was it. I was creating that own fear. That was honestly the one of my biggest fears.
But it's a big challenge for most people if they don't speak the language. It's clearly going to be a harder thing to want to overcome because it's just you feel like, what are they thinking of me? Like the whole perception of it. Yeah. But you guys, I saw in the text messages that there's a launch happening.
Yes.
Is that because I think the date was May 20th, but May 20th is not a Friday.
May 24th.
May 24th. Okay,
did I
because
put that?
no, because in the text message when we were communicating,
Sometimes I like.
because that's why I was like, oh shit, is that tonight, May 17th?
Oh, you know what?
Or-
No. It was originally supposed to be May 20. Because
Okay.
I'm thinking of it's the long weekend, or most people are like off. So we're just trying to figure out the time.
Okay,
Because there's going to be a press release
Okay.
on the 28th.
the 28th. Okay,
That's where like our media relations are going to be sending out that, which I thought another story of the swords. So when we were
Schwing.
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 No,
So she kept on talking about the media launch, the press release.
The press release.
I was thinking the press, like there's like cameras and
We always think that flashing lights.
that's where I thought.
Well, tell me more. What's happening at this festival?
Exactly.
It's 1927.
Yes. So exactly.
So tell me more.
That's how I envisioned it. And then we finally met with her, and she's like, "No, it's a piece of paper that we're gonna
Yeah,
release."
it gets sent out to everybody.
So exactly. So like a perfect example that we're like talking this whole time, and then because of that and that clarification of it, then the budget would change. Now she's like, "Oh, if you want that, then this would cost X amount." I was like, you know what?
that email's pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, you know.
Fucking emails. That's so good.
And then I was like, that inspired us to be like, okay, let's do a festival launch.
Well, we got to do one time.
Without any pressure of like, so on the 24th, that's what we're doing.
Okay, so the 24th
It's
is
May
going to be
24th
it's going to be
at
sent out. That's when it's going to be officially released.
It's actually going to be, see, now we have to have that clarification. So 28th is the actual
official media release.
Media release. They had their contacts to company ABC, to John, to here, Mary, to this company, and they follow up on them.
Okay.
But for us on the 24th is like, we're going to invite you, our web designer, our social media manager,
Awesome.
our videographer,
Comedians.
the producers, the comedians, the owners of the restaurants.
It's nice to have everybody together.
And we're going to give the detail of the festival to be like, hey, we're going to be at this restaurant. I'm going to be performing here. And our release of our website, everything, all the details will be there. And everyone, I guess the algorithm, they're going to share, they're going to tag, so that by the time the press release comes out,
There's already
people, they already
There's a buzz.
heard
There's a
about
buzz,
it. They
yeah.
know
It's a
about
pre-buzz.
it. Yes.
Nice. It's pre-drinking.
Yes, pre-drinking. Exactly.
I'm not spending $400 for that
Yes,
bottle. Let's
yes,
pre-drink.
Yes. Let's go to SAQ and
Let's
get that
go to
bottle, right? So that's.
So this is amazing. I'm really excited about the festival. We're talking more and more because I'll be helping you guys with
Yes.
the collaboration. I'm
Yes.
so excited for that. It's going to be like a live feed, all that
Yes.
stuff. We're
And you're
working
gonna
on.
learn, and how is that gonna go?
Yeah, we're figuring out too. We're like,
Yes.
I'm learning in the process of how we're gonna make this happen. But working with you guys on this is making me get to know you too. That's why I'm so happy we also had this thing, because I got to know you guys now even more.
Yes.
And like seeing all the build up to this, because I think that's what's nice about this is that this came out of left field in a sense. If you asked yourself 10 years ago, would you be organizing a comedy festival on Wellington?
If you asked me 2 years ago.
2 years ago, even that, right?
Yeah.
It's probably not. And that's what makes like kind of life interesting is that,
Yeah.
We were like, what are we gonna do for a summer camp for the kids?
yeah,
What are we
like,
gonna do?
but it's crazy how things can just progress into something. And if you would have asked me a year ago that you'd be working now with guys that are organizing a festival and they're going to ask you to collaborate and work together and interview and do panels, and like this is exactly somewhat in a weird way, it's kind of exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know it yet.
Yes.
So when you guys brought up the opportunity even for me, it was like, wow, this is going to be fun. Like this is an experience for me too. So I just want to say thank you so much.
But imagine if you never invited Jess to
exactly
on your show.
But all these things always end up happening through a random thing,
Is
like
it random?
is it? I know, is it? Is it? Now we're gonna get into some existential shit. We'll go smoke some weed and then we'll come back. Is it, man?
Yeah, and I'll be the same.
You're
with
welcome,
you.
man.
No, I don't know, man. But it's been really just like amazing hearing about the festival. What are some of the key things that you guys want people to know about this festival? What's making it special for you guys?
We
I have my answer. That's
I have my answer.
Let him talk.
We are Be Connected. It's in the name. It's connecting people. We have the opportunity to connect a large group of people through this festival. To me, that's important. That's a value, and we get to do it through laughter. Man, I don't see any other better way to do it,
Yeah.
with what we're presented with, So yeah, connecting people. I don't know what yes, miss?
Candidate number 3. Well,
I feel like we're on a debate,
yes,
a political debate.
Well,
now.
actually, well, for
Your
for
time is
us-
done, sir.
Yes, thank you. Well, what he means,
what he really
what he
wanted to
actually
say.
means, is that for us, when it's something, it's always more than that. So for barbering, for me, it was more when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, it's more than just a haircut. I remember he went to a haircut and it was like $50. Like, what? You could get that for like $5 somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, and I realized that it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it really is.
It is, right?
Money is such a weird thing when it's
the
connected to
value.
value.
Yes.
I pay for certain things that there's certain things that I would not pay $1 for.
Yes.
And there's certain things that I would more than happy pay $1,000 for.
Exactly.
And people would be like, I would never do that. For me, a concert of somebody that I really want to go see, I'm willing to spend money.
Right. And they are willing to charge that amount because
Yeah.
they know the value they bring.
Exactly. But if you ask me like shoes, I don't really need $1,000 pair of shoes. Like, where someone's like, oh, my buddy, I know. And they love shoes and they're sneakerheads and they'll be spending the money. I'm like, with sneakers, like I don't see the value to it.
Yeah.
But they don't maybe see the value that I have for concerts.
It's like it's like my son in Pokemon cards.
Yeah, like they have values for certain things that it's that, right? So for you, it's really the value of this.
Exactly. It's just like so much more. So for us, it's more than just a festival. It's about bringing the community together.
Yeah.
And we're talking about so we have Jess. Jess is having an acoustic night.
Nice.
And we have a friend that I just met 2 weeks ago that during the pandemic, she wrote a children's book.
Oh, nice.
So she's actually going to read that children's book that she created and have like a signing and all that at a bookstore that it's an English bookstore that I saw next door. So it's really about highlighting businesses or highlighting people. And we also have like a Zumba teacher that's going to be there, right? So it's just also we have a drag queen that's going to be performing as well.
Yeah.
Right? So we're just going to have the different levels of it's just
Community.
more than just comedy. And that's what we're trying to highlight.
You know, it's funny. And I love the fact that you're highlighting that and connecting it with the businesses on Wellington Street because, you know, with the Amazons of the world and everything like that, you can get everything so fast. You know, you don't need to even leave your house. My best Christmas was like 2 years ago. I literally ordered everything on Amazon. And for a second, it felt amazing. Everything came to the house. But there was a part of it that was also lost of not going into that store and buying the Christmas gift for somebody or whatever. But I find like doing
Or waiting
this,
in line
or waiting,
for the longest
that
time.
one maybe I'll pass. I liked Amazon for that one. But it was just the idea of, like you saying, connecting this writer that's a
Yes.
local writer to a local bookstore
Yes.
and getting the locals to see that this is happening here.
Yes.
It's not always New York.
Yes.
It's not always LA. It's not always Toronto or whatever it is. There's so many good things that are happening here. And if we don't do this to help, you know, like me pushing the comedy show, because it's you guys that are locals that are putting this thing for the first time. You know, this woman writing a children's story and connecting it with this bookstore, it helps everybody. You know what I mean? And it helps the people here.
Yes.
It doesn't help people in a million miles away and that are already rich in some publishing company. It's like her, you know,
Yes.
and that's what makes it nice. And the comedians too, they're getting the opportunity to be still part of something when there's no festival this year. You know, it's a big
And so
thing.
we do have producers.
Yeah.
So we want to give the opportunity for someone to be creative
Yeah.
and do their own show. And they have full,
Autonomy.
yes. And they don't have to worry about, oh, I have to look for a place. I have to do the marketing. And that's what's hard when it comes to artists is
Yeah.
that they have to do everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just to be an artist.
Yes.
Well, just doing the art
Yeah.
is
Doing the
hard.
art, yeah.
Like actually writing
Yes.
jokes. I was talking with someone on the show. Like writing a joke is fucking tough to
my
write a good
goodness.
joke. So that's the focus for them. They're not maybe thinking of all the promotions and the venues and
they
all
don't
these
want
things.
to.
And they don't want to. Most of the time, they don't want to. When I was a musician, I had a bit of more of a business sense. So I was like, I want to get the bar. I want to go here. I'm going to talk to the owner. I want to do the posters. I liked all those things. But that doesn't happen often, especially like back then. Like now with social media, everyone kind of gets an idea of it. But back then it was like, you didn't really have that. No one else in the band was like, okay, let's go do these things. To me, it was like, okay, well, if we don't do these things, how are we going to get booked? How are we going to get
Yes.
gigs? I had that in me, but not everyone has an entrepreneurial feel to them.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's what it works together. And
Yeah.
it comes to, I'm like, I don't know how to tell jokes. So that doesn't bring me joy. That gives me more nerves and
Yeah.
anything. But I do enjoy like speaking to the business owners and talking to them. It takes a lot of back and forth. And what I like about it with Spatial, I could just go there for 20 minutes and go there
Have your
10
meetings,
minutes and
yeah.
go online if necessary. But it's just really, I still get to still meet with them and then collaborate, and we think about all these ideas. And there's like a coffee shop, it's a Café Jardin. They really they have, it's really family oriented as well. So we want it also that it's families can go to this festival
Yeah.
and be able to be, but at the same time we have like late at night, we have like Down and Dirty in Verdun, you know,
Yeah,
like, so we have that
But
variety.
you need that. And that's what's nice about it, right? Because some things, like I went to Oshiaga, I think it was last year, and I felt a bit old at Oshiaga. You know, like for a second I said, oh no, am I the old guy at Oshiaga? I was like, I only know like 8 artists, you know, like compared to when I used to know the whole poster. So it was funny. I felt a bit like disconnected from Oshiaga, and I was like, why do I have to feel disconnected? Just because I'm older. And so some festivals, if you can have the balance of that, where you have a part where there's parents, there's kids,
Yes,
there's
you
all that
bring your
stuff.
kids.
Then there's kind of the teenagers, there's, the young adults, the business professionals. Then there's the late night dirty stuff. Like you need all those different things because comedy is different for people. Like some people like dark humor, some people like
Yes.
light humor, some people like some really cringy shit. And you need that. Like that's the down and dirty comedy, you know?
Yeah.
But we actually I went to a bar yesterday and she
Just
was
drank all night.
Yes, I was
Fuck
just
that.
we're talking to her and I said,
That's
you know
where you
what?
were?
Let's
That's
do
you told me you were going to the daycare. It was weird. It was like 10 a.m. It was 10
That's
p.m.
what- you didn't see that. That's why I was like, he's like, where are you? I was like, "We're taking a
She has, the fake thing on the
Yes, yes.
FaceTime. She's on a pillow. She's like, I'm sleeping. It's like, I'm in bed. I'm
He's
in
like,
bed.
I could see your location. No, you're not. But it was just like, even I said, let's like have how it's like a hip hop vibe in there.
Yeah.
And I said, well, not everyone wants to go to a comedy show, but I'm like, I have a DJ that could come and you guys could do like,
A set.
I will highlight you in our schedule to be like, well, come by here for a 5 set.
Well,
Right.
that's what's fun about this is that it sounds like, this is my perception, there are no rules. It's my festival.
It's just be respectful.
Yeah,
That's my
just
rule.
the one rule is don't screw over anybody over and be
Yes.
respectful. But barring that, like if you walk in with at least being not an asshole,
Yeah.
everything is a possibility. You know what I mean? There could be barber stands, like just
Yes.
people want to get their hair cut.
It's a community event.
It's a community thing. So you feel like doing it? Why not?
Yeah.
Who's going to stop you at this
The
point?
only,
Outside of the law.
exactly. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
It's like everything
The
indoor
permits.
is good, but it's really everything that's outdoor on the street. That's where it becomes technical.
Yeah, now it's a city
So
thing.
we're learning like 3 hours like block.
Yeah.
And then we'll scale it up.
Yeah.
So we understand how does it work. But
Got
other
it.
than the law, like you said, who's stopping you? The law.
The law. That's
Like, other than that, it's
then
a
never is-
free-for-all.
So,
Yes.
anything else you guys want to talk about on the festival, or anything that maybe I didn't ask as a question to kind of like you guys are super proud of it?
I think honestly, someone came up to us and said, "Why don't you get sponsors or sponsorship?" And we're like, "Okay." We were trying to do that as well, but then they're like, you could hire someone to do that.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Okay, where do we get that?" And that person actually just reached out to us and was
yeah.
like, "Oh, can Deo donate?"
She was soliciting sponsorship from us.
Yes.
So you're like, hey, why don't you work for us? Then?
100%.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly what
how
we
The
it's-
panel, man.
And-
Yeah, I'm gonna make you talk about social media, and I'm gonna learn.
Exactly.
right.
And then she's just like, "Can we get that?" I said, "Oh, by the way, like we do comedy. We're having a comedy show. We could give tickets." And then she's like, "Oh, their festivals after our show on June 8th." So I'm like, "Well, we're having a festival. Like we could give a ticket for there."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Cool." And she's like, "Tell me more about that." And then I'm like, "Well," and then now she's like our sponsorship person, our
That's amazing.
social media, and like how they organized it. It's crazy.
It's a game changer.
What they do. And I'm like, one, they fix my pitch deck. If I show you my pitch deck. I think that was the biggest thing in
Yeah.
March and April. I was trying to figure things out myself. I was like, how do I do this? That was so much going back and forth, fixing, like doing Canva and all
Yeah.
that. But then they were able to do it within like 24 hours, talking to me and like understanding and beautiful
amazing.
Yeah, it comes
French
back
and
to-
in English.
To building a team, a solid team.
Well, that's what it is,
Some
right?
people who are in line with our vision.
Yes.
You know,
That's
because there
everything.
are people that we've worked with in the past and just didn't
Doesn't
see
work.
it.
Yeah.
Just didn't see it.
Yeah,
You
it just
great
doesn't work
person,
out.
For the
just
love of comedy. We're like, for the love of comedy
yeah.
and community.
community and comedy, exactly.
Yes.
If they don't have love for that, or they're not implicated in either or,
Yeah.
there you go. You know, there's other things for you.
Yeah. It's just not us. It's
Yeah.
it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
And
guys.
then like it just comes, right? The universe comes and just, excuse me.
So if there's anything else you need to know,
Yeah.
May 24th.
Yeah,
Yes.
May
May
24th.
24th is the official launch.
That's amazing.
But on June 8th, we still have our Comedy on the Well show. If you didn't know, June in Canada is Filipino Heritage Month.
Okay.
So we're doing a tribute to our culture. It's going to
Nice.
be called Pinoys on the Well on June 8th. So everyone from the comics to the videographer to
DJ.
the DJ to the sponsors are all Filipinos.
Nice.
Not to
But
men-
it's
not-
welcomed everyone.
to everyone.
No
No,
one is allowed
yeah.
here.
You're not-
You're not
You
Filipino.
need
You're
your
out.
birth certificate.
Yeah.
You need your like
I want.
lineage to know.
Talk to me about your parents before you
Yes.
come in here.
Yeah, it's
Before you
just,
buy
it's
the
just
ticket. No, it's actually open to everybody. That's we made it clear.
yes, it's
Okay.
open to everyone. You don't need to be Filipino.
But
to
we
come
would
to our
prefer
show.
it.
Yes.
But it's
That's all
just
we're gonna have. You're gonna cut all that and you put that. We prefer only.
Prefer only
Filipinos only.
This I'm gonna edit. This we only want Filipino.
yeah. But yeah, that's a preview to, I guess, the festival show,
Nice.
festival week. Come see what we can do in our show, because that's a reflection, honestly, that what we do in our Espacial with our bi-monthly show, it's a reflection of what we're trying to bring
Yeah.
to everyone else.
It's like a teaser, in
Yeah.
a sense, like a taste test of it. So what do we do for people that they're gonna buy tickets online? They
Yes.
come to where do they have to go to buy tickets, and that's all gonna be launched as of May 24th.
May 24th, it's gonna be launched.
So now people can start buying tickets as of May 24th.
Yes. So right now we're just gonna be like we're just gonna be talking about the festival, July 8th to 14th, July 8th to 14th, festival. But then on the 24th, we'll give the details of what show, what location, what time.
Can
Probably
people buy like a
tickets.
pass to go to like every show?
That's next level.
That's next level.
Because
next
we're
year.
trying to figure out.
Okay, because I know that JFL used to do that.
Yes.
That's who used to get those tickets.
Yeah,
of
well,
like,
then JFL had the budget to do all those things.
Don't fuck-
Yeah, I was like, we don't. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why. So right now it's individual, but
Yes.
who knows? Okay.
Like the shows is something that we could do. Even though we have 20 shows, we have producers that are like they have their own show already, so we don't have to really like manage all these 20 shows on our own. So that's
Yeah.
why it's easy.
Yeah.
If we had to do 20 shows,
Oh,
on
my God, I can't even
Yes.
imagine that one. That must
So
be crazy.
So one night would have 4 shows in different locations.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's how we're like running with that. But
So it's like bar hopping at the same time too.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
We're
we're
looking
trying
at-
to make
yeah.
sure that they're like variety. So we have Anglophone, we have Francophone, we have bilingual
Nice.
shows to have that balance
That's awesome.
options.
Okay, so how do you want to end this?
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
That's it. Then we're done.
Okay, that's it.
If you guys want it to end that way, that's it. I'm
Yes.
done. I'm really happy. I just want to say thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for
It was
reaching
really
out.
fun.
Yeah.
And even like I said earlier, like getting to know you guys, it's just been fun. Like, and I think that's what I
we
always
are
look.
fun.
I know you guys are fun. You got it.
My,
We're fun.
my niece said, "What happened to you? You used to be fun." I was like, "I became a mom."
I became a mom, and I'm
what
fun.
happened.
Don't ever say something stupid like that again. But it's really been fun
Yeah.
getting to know you guys. But it's also now like hearing the stories, like I said earlier, understanding a little more how this came to be. You know, I love knowing that there was a crossroads in there. You know what I mean? Like things had to change. It shows so much that there's always so much behind everything. So like the comedy on the fest is only possible because of all these other things that had to happen.
Exactly.
So to me, like, I hope the people that are watching this say like, wow, I want to support that. That to me is why it's important to have people like you on and talk about these stories so that you can understand the story behind all the work that's going behind this and to come out. So everybody that's watching, everybody that when the shit happens, let them know that you support by coming to the shows,
Yes.
having fun.
Yes, please.
So that way we have another one next year and it gets
Yes.
bigger and better every single year.
Yeah.
So I just want to say congratulations. Good luck on everything, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this show.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm
So
really looking
yes,
forward
come
to it.
July 13.
Yeah, July 13th. True, we're going to be doing the live show from
Yeah.
Spatial.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to push that definitely.
for sure.
So thank you
I'm
guys
excited
so
for
much.
that one.
That's it.
Bye.
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 All right, man.
Fantastic.
We clap.
Thank
Hey.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yes,
man.
thank you so much. Oh my goodness.
Mwah.
This.
Hey, thanks for checking out the show. It's been awesome working on this project. And if you like it, tell a friend. And if you want to support the show, you can by 1, subscribing and liking our YouTube channel at the DMW Podcast. 2, you can go to our website and sign up to our mailing list at the dmwpodcast.com. And 3, you can follow us on Instagram at the DMW Podcast. Thanks again for all of your support. My name is Stef, and this is the Dead Man Walking Podcast.